Here I am on a service call for a Lennox unit heater. It's actually in a gym. First thing here, I can see a ball wedged against the exhaust pipe, so I'll pull that down, and currently the issue is just no heat, so I'm gonna dig into it and see what I have going on. So I got the panel off, and now I'm looking at the board here. First thing I always do is look at the fault code if there is one. I have a 2 flash, and then on the door here, 2 flashes, system lockout, failure to detect or sustain flame. That's usually either going to be the board or the flame sensor, and typically it's the flame sensor. A lot of times you can get away with cleaning the flame sensor with Scotch-Brite or something like that. So my flame sensor's back here, and currently I'm on a little tiny man lift, so I'm going to have to reposition this thing so I can get to that flame sensor. I'm going to take a reading on it first, actually, and then depending on what I see there, I will pull it out and clean it. But that is where I'm at right now. So I'm taking a reading right here. You can see it's extremely low. Typically I like to see at least 2.0 or higher on the flame sensor. So I am reading it technically through the wire that goes all the way to the flame sensor. So I mean, there could be an issue with the wire, but realistically it's probably not. Usually I'd test it right at the flame sensor, but since I have to reposition the lift, I'm doing it right here. So I'm gonna pull the flame sensor out and clean it up and see what kind of reading I get. I always write it up if the problem persists to replace just to replace the flame sensor, just to kind of cover myself. But typically you get away with cleaning it and it's good to go. Something that we typically will do on a maintenance. This particular site isn't a maintenance customer, so it's a good opportunity to talk to them about getting maintenance done on their system. So I just repositioned the lift. These ones are always kind of a pain to get out, but you pretty much should take apart the burner assembly because they put the screws on the back side to get this flame sensor out. So yeah, now I'm just going to kind of pull this apart. I'm going to clean it up and see what kind of reading I get. And like I said, if it looks pretty good, if it's above 2.0 on my reading, then I will call it good. Definitely get them up and going again. And like I said, in my paperwork, I'll just write up stating if it acts up again, to replace it. So this green little Scotch-Brite stuff is what I've always been trained and told in all my classes to use to clean the flame rod. I've heard a bazillion different things from different techs over the years. I've also heard of like dollar bill or just like a bill material will actually help clean them up a little bit. I've tested it actually does work. Things I would try to avoid is like sandpaper or like wire brushes. They actually put deeper grooves in that flame rod to the point where they actually will fail more often. So that's pretty much what I've always stuck to is the Scotch-Brite, and I've been good, so I haven't really played around with much other things. Like I said, if you've heard of other things that you like to use that have worked well for you, feel free to leave a comment down below, but that's just what I've always used. So I just got done pulling everything apart, cleaning up the flame sensor. Since I had everything apart, I just decided to clean all the ends of the in-shop burners as well, since I had it apart. I usually just do that with a wire brush, and it goes good. I have my meter hooked up here, and now I got a reading of about 4.5 after cleaning that flame sensor. So as you can see, I mean, it went up a ton from what I had. So I should be good here. Like I said, I'll probably put a note in the unit, just in a little control box here, just saying the date and what I did, just cleaned it, and if it keeps acting up, you know, I'd possibly do the flame sensor. But this is just an easy kind of routine call here. Fairly common on these gym units, just because they get a lot of dust and everything, and they're open here. The burner compartment's open. Model number, like I said, it's a Lennox unit heater. Model number is at LF24-200A-6. anything you guys, like I said, recommend that you've used in the past to clean flame rods, feel free to leave it down in the comments. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. All right, thanks guys.